my work here is to say that the agroecology strategy was developed with a lot of consultation with the counties, and it was launched last year. We are now in the phase which is called implementation of the strategy, which involves now the counties to have the policies to implement the various activities or the various recommendations in the strategy. So my presentation is the internal operations of the National Technical Committee for Agroecology and what are the next steps that we need to implement or to take. Looking at this, where we are now, this is Devolution Conference, so we'll be talking about more of what the counties need to do or what we need to do together. The national government, the county, the partners, and all other stakeholders.
Karibuni sana, my panelists. And I'll go straight to Mr. Daniel Gitahi, the Director, Devolution, Agroecology and Linkages from Murang'a County. Some of you may know, but Murang'a is known as the home of agroecology. Now, Bwana Daniel, can you tell us why Murang'a is called the home of agroecology?
I'm told it was the third subnational government in the world to have recognized food systems through legislative process. That is added in 2022. And by 2023, it had a legal framework and a policy that clearly outlines what needs to be done. Why? Murang'a County is predominantly a cash crop economy in terms of its pathway in terms of developing its GDP. And therefore, looking at history, productivity of most of the enterprises had gone down. And what I mean down means that a crop like coffee with a potential of doing over 10 kilos on average per bush is doing 3 kilos. Tea is doing 1 kilo per bush. And many other enterprises that you'll imagine. That is one of the reasons. And looking at the root cause of it is that we had an issue with our soil health. And what I mean issues is that our farmers, of course, knowing that is the history, I mean the area where the first generation of Kikuyu was brought up, also means that tilling of land would have started in medieval times, maybe. So we have a long history of tilling our land, and our soils are highly acidic. That would mean that we have what we call phosphorus toxicity.
Can you tell us a little bit about Pelum Kenya, and also what steps are you taking to ensure that the National Agroecology Strategy is actually rolled to the counties so that the impact is felt in all our 47 counties?
Okay, thank you so much, Daktari. So my name is Mane from Pelum, Kenya. Pelum is Participatory Ecological Land Use Management and is a national network of civil society organizations promoting agroecology principles and practices among the smallholder farmers and pastoralists in Kenya. We are happy that we are reaching all the 47 counties of Kenya, and we are reaching over 1.5 million farmers. So as Pelum Kenya, this was issues of advocacy and policy for agroecology is one of our key thematic areas, and that's how we come in terms of influencing policies that are supporting agroecology. For example, the National Agroecology Strategy for Food System Transformation, we played a key role in supporting and ensuring that it was finally launched. But we understand that most of the policies remains on the shelf. If they are not supported to be implemented, then they will never be implemented. So we've taken a step further, and we have fundraised more to be able to to domesticate and support domestication of this national strategy at the county levels. We have also supported several counties. Currently, Vihiga has already launched theirs around March, April there. And we also worked with Muranga before even the National Agroecology Strategy was launched. We are also supporting other counties, including Turkana County and Makueni County, which is almost launching their policy, and other counties. I know Waziri is here for Kitui, will also come to your county. Yeah, so basically that's what we are doing in terms of first pooling resources to ensure that we have enough funds to ensure that this strategy can be domesticated at the county level.
Could you tell us about some of the challenges that you're facing and how either the national agroecology strategy or county level policies like in Muranga is helping you to address some of those challenges?
So thank you very much, and also to the organizers to put me in this panel. With the youth, we have a very big challenge, and it's a myriad of challenges. And the first challenge, number one, begins with the land ownership. I can tell you for a fact, the land where I farm, it's not my land. And out of a group of friends and young farmers that farm, I think only about 2 is their land. And so what happens at the end of the day, number one, if it is I have leased the land, the youth will be, why would I practice this agroecology? The soil is not mine. 2, 3, 4 years, I will leave this land and look for another land to lease. So with that, challenges starts to develop at that particular point. Going in further, it comes issues on access of finance so that you can begin on farming. Agriculture, or rather the farming, the production is not as cheap. And when you come also on transitioning, when you're transitioning from conventional agriculture now to the agroecology agriculture, it's not also as cheap. It will cost you at about $300-400 per acre to do the consult. So access to finance becomes a very, very big challenge to the youth farmers. Problem number 4 is that information again is also limited, and in terms of access to information on agroecology. But one, I have to commend the work about where the different stakeholders and partners have done on an issue that I mentioned, that is soil health. So right now I have a guarantee. If I call even a farmhand from the village, they know how to make compost or bokashi. So I am excited. But as this is coming up, we have other information that needs to continue to support agroecology.
Maybe just Dr. Mudavi, could you react to some of these challenges, because you've been mentioned as having or contributing to addressing some of these challenges, before we give it to Alice to also tell us how the national government is using agroecology to try and address some of the challenges that is facing the youth. But I'm sure similar challenges are being faced by many other stakeholders as well.
The issue of products and markets. It is true that conventional products, and if you produce for markets, standards are guided, they are very clear. Also organic products, if you produce for markets, there are also standards that are very clear. When we talk of agroecological products, if we use that term, it is not yet very clear which standards to use. And this is where we have started working with ARSO, which is an African standardization organization. It is an agency of the African Union. And also with the National Bureau of Standards. Already we are doing some work with the Kenya National Bureau of Standards, Tanzania Bureau of Standards, and the Uganda Bureau of Standards, and to some extent Rwanda. We want to look at how do we develop a standard that would be akin to what we'd call an agroecologically produced product. We are having discussions around the issues of sustainability because EcoMark is a bit closer to a standard that can be used. But we also know what could be the limitations in terms of agroecology. So this is an issue we want to move with a bit of speed and care and involve all the key institutions so that we can get agroecological transformations or progress leading to products that are also recognized by the markets. So this is something I want to say. We hope in due course, working with all the norms, including COAN and others, and the certification bodies, we will be able to cross the pathway.
I want to generally comment on the issue of organics. We have an organization for organic fertilizer manufacturers, meaning we as Kenyans are recognizing this as a need. And that organization was registered in 2023, meaning it's just 2 years old. And we are working together with them in the soil health matters because we know they matter. There could be challenges in terms of the distribution and the capacity, but the longest journey starts with one step. And we have already taken the first step as a country to focus on organics for our fertilizers. And I'm seeing as in the rural areas, in the counties, we have opportunities for businesses, for young people, for people who want to do the organic. I think this is the time. Don't complain that there is no distributor. How can you be the distributor? How can you be the advocate for that organic, for that region? The issue of our soils becoming more difficult to work. There's also the issue of how we have been managing our plowing, our planting, our seed beds. And I think there, as a country, we have not done very well. We have continually reduced the plowing depth, meaning when the rain comes or when we are watering, the water does not percolate. So we need to improve on our land preparation techniques to make it more friendly to the root of the crop that we want to plant. Sometimes it is not the lack of the nutrients that makes the produce not to uptake. It is the soil, the water, nutrient, air relationship. If it is not balanced, no matter how much fertilizer you apply, no matter how much nutrient you apply, it may not be able to be uptaken. So the issue of land preparation, the equipment and the machineries that are required, I think that's an area that also, through the extension in the county government, we need to refocus and make sure that our plowing has improved. Because I can tell you, if I give an example of maize, if you don't plow 15 centimeters for maize, you may not get the right output from your crop. So it is not just the number of plants you plant. It is also how many plants can be able to uptake the necessary nutrients from the soil and from the water and the nutrients you have applied. Mheshimiwa has talked about amplification of NAS. I think that is why we are here as the technical team, IFSFA, to make sure that this message goes out there in the world, that we have a strategy. All we need is domestication. So any county, any organization that is willing to support, we are there to give the technical capacity. Asante.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Parting shots from our youth and Daktari.
So I will amplify the issue with Violet from CGA. And what is the core reason of why we have two plots? And going deeper also and looking at the different value chains, we have done a commendable job on showing how to grow food for subsistence in an agroecology manner. And that we have done a good job. But what I feel our partners now need to look into, how do we also now train farmers to grow commercial foods, in a sustainable manner, or rather in an agroecologically aligned manner. And why am I saying this? Because I remember one of the type actually increases to about 30 bags. Actually increases to about 30 bags. Actually, it records 35 to 40% increase in yields. And let us look at on the other side. When the soil testing was done, when they were purely using synthetic fertilizers, they had quite high amounts of heavy metals in their soil. When they purely did organic, the heavy metals were actually reducing. But when they actually combined, the heavy metals present in the soil continued to reduce. And what does that show us? That shows us that there is a critical balance between, in commercial production, there is crop nutrition. This crop, it's feeding from the soil, and we have to look how can we sustainably and affordably promote it. So in that manner, as director is saying, there is a gap in how are we doing our extension services, not only for the subsistence production, but also for the commercial production of foods, so that at the end of the day we can say, yes, we have commercially available, commercially safely grown foods. Let us come back also to pesticides. There was a case about a farmer who had actually done a lot of work doing the fencing crops, and as the fencing crops continued growing, the maize at the lower level where they were at par with the fencing crop, they did not suffer any, they were not attacked by pests. But as they continue growing beyond the fencing crop, then the pests started coming in. So this is a maize producing farmer doing it in large scale. At the end of the day, he was actually forced to revert back to using the pesticide. But what if we had organic pesticides which have the same level of efficacy as per the synthetic one, certified that they are safe to safe to use, and also training on how they can be used in the right way. So that is why we are going, and how we are going to curb the two plots theory. So thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah. Very briefly, Waziri Dr. Steve Mbai has just left, but he raised an important point. We want to see how we can broaden collaboration across all the key partners. This work can't be successful without all our joint collaborations. So nurturing truly functional, productive collaborations is the way to go, and we'll continue to do that. Secondly, I'm glad that we now have a national agroecology strategy. Muranga started, other counties have been doing the same, but now we are developing a framework to support the domestication of the national strategy, so that instead of taking 5 years, counties might take maybe maximum 2 years. Their own strategy has been developed using the national one for domestication, and I think that is a very big achievement. Finally, I want to say this: we are all committed to work together with all the national institutions, the private sector, the NGOs, and the important institutions and our development partners to see how much progress we can take. And with our ISFA network, together with the ministry, we will come up with a mechanism of how do we then document the progress we are making, the impact we are generating, and the milestones we are covering. I think this will be the best practice to do, so that 5 years from today, when we meet again in another forum, we can say these are the key challenges, these are the key milestones we have met, these are the challenges we have addressed, these are the opportunities we have unlocked. And with that, we can actually make a lot of progress. Thank you. I really appreciate having had the opportunity to be part of this panel.
Thank you very much. Tuwapigie makofi. Situpige makofi like we are going to have lunch. As we are talking about food and nutrition security. Thank you very much. You can take your seat. So this has been very interesting. We need to work together.